let's roll.
Oh, we're talking about Sony acquiring Insomniac Games? That's right, we haven't talked about that yet.
Yeah, I got everything. I got all the latest topics. I'm pretty sure we're live now. Let me just make sure.
Yeah. Cool.
Make sure we're here. All right, make sure.
Here we go. Oh, you got to be kidding me. There's a commercial on.
Yep, we're live. We are live. How y'all doing? What's up, guys? Welcome to the Gamer Couch Podcast, episode 113, or no, 112, and the RGT Podcast, episode 74. How y'all doing? We are live. This is the first ever super show, I guess you can say. So we're here. Yeah. So hope you guys enjoyed today's show. Go ahead, hit that like button. Go ahead, tweet it out. Let's reach more gamers. Let's get more in here, and let's have a good show, man. All right? So I'm going to let everybody do their intros, and then we're going to start the actual show. Go right ahead, Craig, because you're already talking. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. Oh, thanks for having me. Glad to be here on the first ever. This is the super show.
Yes.
So, I'm excited to be here. Glad to be here at the launch. And, let's got some good topics, I see. So ready to talk about them.
All right. Let me move this here. Lobo?
Hey, what up, guys? Savage Lobo here. RGT episode 74 and Gamer Couch episode 112. Let's get it on.
All right. Is Carlos in here?
Yep.
Oh, yeah, I'm here.
Oh, he fixed it. Okay. What's up, Carlos? Go ahead, brother.
What's up, bro? Hey, everybody. Happy Sunday. Welcome to the RGT / Gamer Couch Special Edition podcast. And let's get on with these topics.
Yep, and before everybody lose their mind, where's the gameplay? There it is. All right, go ahead, Foxy.
Oh, shit.
I don't see any gameplay.
You don't see none yet? Oh, it should be on
there. Yeah, it should be. It's a 20-second delay.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Damn.
It's always a 20-second delay, bro.
Thanks, YouTube, for that. 20-second delay.
Didn't know that.
Uh-oh.
Make sure everything good.
Foxy,
you there?
I'm here, bro. I'm here.
All right, go ahead, do your intro, bro.
Go ahead.
Oh, my intro? Oh, yeah. Well, the Gaming Couch podcast, RGT combined, Super Show, episode 112.
Yep.
Play games, not corporations.
All right, okay. Let's go ahead and have some fun. Let's fire up this awesome panel. Let's talk about Gamescom, man. How y'all feel about Gamescom? Was it worth the wait? Was it a good show? Did y'all enjoy the games that were shown?
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah,
mixed bag.
Okay, who like to go first?
Crumb Side Spy. Go ahead, brother.
No, I'm good. No, go. Where's you, Craig?
Oh, no, I enjoyed it. Anytime I get to see more games, I'm happy. There was nothing to be sad about. We got a nice Gears CGI trailer, but it was a trailer nonetheless.
Mm-hmm.
We had to see more Control. I'm getting that game thanks to the community, the PC community, and so shout out to them. I enjoyed it. It's all Death Stranding, more gameplay. Got to see some more of the physics of the game. And I had no problem with Gamescom. I actually enjoyed it more. You get the huge announcement of Stadia, them getting Cyberpunk. And of course, if you have the connection, you're going to be running at it 4K, 60 frames a second with HDR. So that's good. This is all good news. The fact that Google was able to pull that off, that's what people are worried about. So, because where else are you going to play that game at 4K 60 without having a rig that's at least $1,800, give or take? The give or take. So give them credit. But more games. I was happy, and with that, I'll rest.
Okay. What you thought about it, Mr. Lobo?
It was a good show. We got to see more of the Death Stranding gameplay. To be honest, like some of the games that I've seen is like basically there's some games that are like Destiny 2 type games that I wasn't really interested on. But the one game that really let me down was Need for Speed, to be honest, because
Really?
was,
Oh, I'm shocked.
yeah.
People were actually hyping that up. Oh, okay.
No, I was really disappointed because it's another Forza 2 remake. To be honest with you.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Mr. Carlos, what you thought about Gamescom, bro?
It's a mixed bag,
Mixed
in
bag.
my opinion.
So it
Yeah,
had
mixed
stuff that
bag.
you wanted and stuff you didn't?
There were a couple of games that I was quite interested in, and then there's the exception of the rule for everything that I'm not too hype with Stadia. Let's just be honest. I'm not too
Yeah.
fond of it.
Okay.
Same.
The Need for Speed Heat feels like a reminiscent payback. Need for Speed Paybacks mixed with the old 2015 Need for Speed game. I'm gonna actually play the game. I actually like the concept of how it's going back to that old school underground-esque game style. But as far as everything else, it just looks the same to me. Death Stranding, that was an eye catcher. I actually like the concept of the game even more now.
Okay.
And for the rest of the other titles, is a mixed bag. We already know that Destiny was gonna do some expansion packs for their upcoming update. On the Microsoft side, wasn't too compelled because I knew most of the games are going all multi-platform, especially with the announcement of Ori
Okay.
going to the Switch. So it's like,
oh yeah, great point,
Oh,
great
yeah.
point, Carlo. That shocked the hell out of me.
Well, there's an article we're going to definitely talk about that kind of does reinforce what they're saying, but at the same time, there's another one that kind of doesn't. It's like a contradictory on both points. So, but yeah, continue though. Say if we continue. Is that all you had to say, Carlos?
yeah, that's all I got.
Okay, I didn't want to cut you off. That's why.
No, that's cool, bro.
All right. Shout out to everybody in the chat. How y'all doing? Hope y'all enjoying this lovely Sunday. Mr. Fox, what you thought about Gamescom, brother?
Honestly, a lot of the most exciting stuff happened outside of Gamescom, but around Gamescom, ironically. However, there were a handful of things that appealed to me at Gamescom. And I got to say, because my expectations were so low, I mean, there was literally no buzz leading up to it. A few leaks, but no real dynamism in the air. So I didn't expect much. So actually, I enjoyed Gamescom purely because my bar was so low for it this year that anything would have surprised me. But it was nice to see more Death Stranding. I really enjoyed the Gears story mode, campaign mode trailer because I've been waiting on that aspect of the game. Because I don't really care about the co-op, don't care about the horde mode, don't care about online multiplayer. As great as it is for some, I don't care. It's not my bag. It's not my shtick. All I care about is an engaging, heavy narrative campaign mode. Sort of, doesn't veer too far away from the formula, but at least adds a little bit more for the sake of negating that over familiarity with the series. So yeah, Gears 5 was great. The Nintendo show really surprised me because what I saw of the Switcher, let's call it the Switcher. That's the buzzword on the map. The Switcher 3 has no right performing and looking the way it does on that tablet, portable, whatever you want to call it. It's certainly not a console by my standards. It's because you can plug it in your TV. I can show you a lot of phones that can plug into the TV, but we don't call them consoles, all right? So it's a portable that is actually running a current generation game. I agree with Savage Lobo. I think it was Savage that said it.
What?
The Need for Speed really didn't turn me on at all. The best Need for Speed that I've played was like a generation ago, I think Gen 7, Most Wanted on the 360.
Yeah.
Oh, Carbon.
That was the best one. They haven't made a good Need for Speed since then. The launch Need for Speed, I can't remember the name of it, but it was more heavy on the cops thing. That was okay as a launch time.
Hot Pursuit. Was it Hot
Pursuit? That was
Hot Pursuit 2.
It wasn't Hot Pursuit. It was the launch game. It was one of the Need for Speeds that first launched on PS4 and Xbox One.
Not underground. It's
No.
Well, it's irrelevant. The name. Let's not bust our.
Rivals.
Yeah. Let's not bust our nut trying to remember the subtitle. You know the game.
Yeah.
That only wowed me because it was using the Battlefield engine. Do you know what I mean?
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because I was just blown away by all of the incidental physics that was, when you drove really fast, like by the sort of ocean's edge, you could see like the wind blowing the water. And that was the first real racing game of next gen. So, it wasn't difficult to shock us. But ever since then, it's been terrible. I'm not going to lie. I haven't cared. They've practically been giving Need for Speed away via EA Access and really cheap sales. And I still haven't bought it because it's gone all online, always online. I don't feel like I have to connect to the internet to play a racing game. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
So, what else was there? I want to go back to Death Stranding. I noticed they had an R. Kelly scene in the game when he was peeing, only they replaced the human with a mushroom.
Oh my god.
Oh god.
That was interesting. I think R. Kelly might want to do a copyright claim on that because Kojima has no right taking R. Kelly's creative behind closed doors works. But So what else was there at Gamescom? Let's be honest.
We saw
most of the stuff already, didn't we?
Most of the stuff did look like Destiny clones, like games inspired by Destiny.
Yeah.
We saw it this year.
I don't care about those games. I don't
There's a
remember
lot of
anything. I don't remember that part of the event because I care nothing for online shooters. But summing it up, Gamescom was not disappointing.
Yeah.
If you went into it thinking, if you built it up for yourself, that's your problem. That's a you problem because the media certainly didn't build it up. The fans didn't build it up because I saw it was like a ghost town for Gamescom, like 24, 48 hours before the show. I didn't even know it was on when it was on. It was a surprise to know. It was tomorrow. We was on your podcast together, right? And you said, "Oh, isn't Gamescom tomorrow?" And I was like, "What? No, it can't be tomorrow." That shows you how little of a build-up and fanfare and hype there was for it. I'm not disappointed. I'm not disappointed with it. Better than nothing, right?
Google's Stadia show didn't really. I mean, they announced some games like Mortal Kombat or whatnot, but I was like, The stream itself, I don't know if it was just me. Did it lag for you guys at certain like key moments during the Google Stadia presentation, like the actual stream?
Yeah, you're gonna get occasional spikes because
it was spikes. I'm like, if you guys can't get this to run out of fall of the stream, because remember Gamescom, there were no spikes.
Do you know what? I don't dislike Stadia anymore. I have no problem with Stadia. I'll tell you why. Because I don't worry about things I don't care about. I don't care about Stadia, so it doesn't bother me.
Okay. But I just noticed that about Stadia. I was like, wow, this event was just, it wasn't really, I don't know, it didn't do much for me.
At least they showed exclusives. Whether you like them or not, they're exclusives.
Yeah, that's true. They announced Mortal Kombat again. I'm like, this is a fighting game. Y'all know latency really has to be good for this. Fighting games for this person.
We know that the infrastructure's not ready. The technology's ready. It's the infrastructure that's not ready. The technology's built. It's there. It's been there. It's been there since Gaikai. It's been there since before PlayStation Now. It's just we don't have the infrastructure that can keep up with the technology. The technology exists 10 years ago.
Yep.
Honestly, you think this is new? This is 10 years, 20 years old. It's just new now because it's cheap enough to introduce over time. Like a lot of the stuff, these 4K TVs that say, 2016, 2017, they're not 2016, 2017 models. That's when they decided to mass produce them so you suckers could go out and buy them. No, they've been literally lying around as parts. Do you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
As R&D, prototypes for like 5 years, 10 years. Like we're so behind technically in what is available as consumers. It's because they can't afford to make these things cheap immediately. It has to take like they made 4K probably little after they introduced 1080p into the market.
Okay. Before we get into the obviously the bigger stories, because shout out to Balthazar who put this in our Discord. I'm gonna talk about that as well. This is gonna be part of it. Who played the Call of Duty Alpha? Anybody in the chat? Like, put a 1 if you played the Alpha in the chat. Cause me and Lobo, I know everybody else on the good chunk of the panel played it, right? You guys played the Alpha?
Yeah,
I
I'm
Yep.
still playing it.
You still
Oh
playing?
Lord.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to give a quick first impressions out there because I know a lot of people ask me personally about the game. How is it? So I guess I'll just get mine out the way. So me and Lobo, the gameplay you watching right there on the screen is me and Lobo playing a few rounds. Played for like 2 hours, right? It was like 2 hours, Lobo? Like 2
Yep.
hours.
Yep. Yep.
So we played 2 hours of this game. I'll tell you right now, the game is fun, right? We can agree. The game has got a fun game mode. The
Yeah.
whole this whole 2v2 mode is basically gun game. So they give you random weapons. They spawn you aside, far from each other across the map. And then basically, you just got to eliminate one another. They do have a nice little twist on it, though. Basically, if you don't kill all the enemies, you have an option to either capture a flag or to wait it out. Because you guys look at the health bar on top, you can win by that means. It's all right. It's not really that. It's not bad. I would say I like the game mode. The problem with this actual game, though, aside from the good movements, aside from the pretty visuals and the amazing gun sounds and whatnot, and the new melee system is actually pretty good. Should I say it, Lobo, or you want to say it? The hit detection. Should we
No,
talk
you
about that?
go ahead.
That hit detection is still a little wonky, guys.
But isn't that why it's alpha though? So they
Yeah,
can
but it's an
fix it.
alpha.
Yeah, that hit detection is still
Yeah.
wonky, though. I'm talking like
So they need you to
Brought
play
back.
it right, so they can set the timing. That's
Yeah.
why that's why it's off,
True,
because you
but
guys are testing it for them.
that's just one of the complaints. So
You can't no. You can't complain.
no, you gotta
Disrespecting
complain to get it fixed.
No one can
in alpha.
complain about an alpha or a beta because it's not the final product.
I'm saying you
complain-
gotta complain to get the input out there so that they can get that
Nah,
proper feedback.
man, they're getting
from
all the
it.
feedback.
I know,
they're
so
getting
I'm
the
giving feedback with this particular.
They're getting it via
complaint.
data. They don't even need you to talk. They're getting it all in numbers, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can see it.
Sometimes those numbers though are kind of bad though. They look at the
You're just
the
you
traction.
know what you're doing now, innit?
What's up?
You just want to win the argument. I'll let you win.
Oh God. Nah.
Anyway, aside from the hit detection, again, I think it's good at times. Other times, it just feels a little odd, especially at close range.
Oh yeah.
The
close
spawns
range.
are weird. Like now, they spawn you literally in a straight line across the map from one another, and you can easily pick each other off when they give you sniper rifles. That kind of
Yep,
defeats the purpose
exactly.
of moving in the game mode.
Yeah, exactly. On this map, I literally picked off 2 people on that map.
Camping.
You know, I'm hearing conflicting stories. Everybody online is saying it's the best Call of Duty since 2007.
Well, that's the honeymoon phase, bro.
Hell no.
That's the honeymoon
Wow,
phase.
no. That's a honeymoon.
They're saying people are saying this is like the spiritual successor to the very first
Nah.
Modern
I don't know about
Warfare.
that. I don't know about that.
I
bro.
don't know.
You know, Modern Warfare. You know the original one.
Yeah,
like,
with
everyone
Captain
loved
Price.
it.
Yeah.
Nah.
You know what's
They're saying
sad?
that people are saying they've taken it back to that time when we loved Call of Duty.
Yeah, I don't know about
Nah,
that. I will
that's
say
just-
this though.
That's that extra Kool-Aid with sugar in it, bro.
Yeah.
This game
Exactly.
far from polished.
Well, I don't know how.
This game is
I mean,
far
at least
from polished.
the Call of Duty game never. I mean, look, if you're playing an alpha, how can they already be better? They're not even finished with
Yeah.
all the physics.
No, I mean,
Yeah.
compared to the Call of Duties that have disappointed.
No. I understand that. Yeah, just I'm
Mhm.
just saying. I agree with Fox here. I mean, it's an alpha. You guys are testing it,
Yeah.
and I mean, so you guys are. If it's got bad hit detection, if you're gonna play it in beta, maybe that's one of the things you check for to see if it's got
Yeah.
better hit detection. So
Another thing that me and Lobo caught wind of. Now, me and Lobo, we did talk about buying this. So we might buy it on PC, so I might buy it on PC. But me and Lobo talked about this in terms of the traction on the game. Now, you remember how Call of Duty's known for having 6v6, and then they had Ground War, which was like 10v10. Y'all remember those big modes? Yeah, I noticed they cut it back significantly. So they did 2v2 for this mode, and I think it's 4v4 on standard. Right, it's like 4v4. So I'm wondering if they cut the player count, the player count in terms of stability for the new engine to cut a corner.
could be.
Because like,
It
you know what I'm
is.
saying? Because there's like, it makes no sense for you to just get rid of, the norm, which is 6v6. That's kind of weird. So
Yeah.
that's what we were noticing as well. But aside from that, I mean, it's actually not too bad if you have friends, you just want to play like that. It's not too bad. I wouldn't say it's the greatest Call of Duty like a lot of people are making it seem out to be. It's not that. But it's definitely a big improvement over the futuristic Star Wars sci-fi garbage, I would say. So that. But go ahead, Lobo, if you want to add anything to that, go right ahead.
To be honest, like I remember where we were in a match with mouse and keyboard player. imagine. I don't know if they're gonna allow mouse and keyboard on consoles or
Xbox will get it because it has a keyboard and mouse specifically made for it, right?
But what for PlayStation people? That's what I'm like.
I mean, natively the PS4 has keyboard and
But
mouse support.
isn't it a third party support? Microsoft actually has integrated it into Xbox now, haven't they? They've made it like part of the ecosystem where with Sony it's just optional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they might add the option to play with the keyboard on the PS4.
Oh yeah, we ran against a keyboard and mouse player, didn't we, Lobo?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we
That's
did.
what
We
I
did.
was telling you.
I forgot about that. To tell if you're going to get somebody with a keyboard and mouse, now usually it will show a controller by their name. If it's a keyboard and mouse, you'll see a mouse, legit mouse. So they'll tell you literally right off the bat if you're playing against a keyboard and mouse player. So that was interesting. Yeah, it was pretty cool. I think the longevity of the game will be higher probably than the previous ones, just because of that merit alone, the crossplay. So
Exactly.
yeah, I think it'll be
I'm
fine.
gonna play. Yeah, and I think on the PlayStation it was in K, so it was playing in true 4K. So
Yeah.
not bad for a console.
Looks good though. It's not too bad.
I think Call of Duty's problem was it went too sci-fi.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, exactly.
It
I
left
don't like this new
reality.
voice
It
actor
left
either.
reality, right? Like we like the like the whole Cold War theme, and we liked Vietnam.
War that war.
We
I
like the
love
real
that.
theaters of war because we can relate to that. Not personally, but it was part of history, human history.
Not only that,
But
they took chances. Like you remember they had blood and dismemberment, then they had the Kennedy assassination. Like they did all types of crazy stuff.
Yeah, and that all
with the
happened,
license.
and you remember it, and your parents probably told you about it, or whatever. You've watched SNL,
exactly.
vintage SNL, and they've reminded you.
Mhm.
But space it's not in my lifetime. You know what I'm saying? I'll be dead before people are living out there in space.
Yeah, that's true.
Pretty much, bro. Pretty much.
All right. Carlos, you want to add anything to it before we get to the topics?
Oh, your body.
You're botting out
Your
bad, bro.
body.
What did you just do? I don't know what you.
God.
Okay, it sound better now. Try it again. Say it again.
For me, it's mostly the hit detection. They have to improve upon that and the actual, transitioning from the spawning spots. That's where they need to really focus on.
I agree. Yeah, it makes
Yeah,
no
I
sense
also
that somebody
wanna-
can just climb a box and just wait for you to turn a corner and then pop you off before you even get into the gameplay. So yeah, I agree.
Carlos, you
Yeah.
auditioning for voiceover for Transformers with that bot in?
Nah, I'm not transitioning. I
Yeah,
have to
man,
use
alone.
my phone.
Yeah, leave it, man,
My
alone.
phone now because my computer's updating. I haven't used it in a while.
Okay. I also want to add this. Hopefully, when the beta comes out, they nerf some of the weapons because when we were playing, some of the weapons were fucking OP as fuck.
Yeah, that was weird. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was weird.
Super OP.
Let's move on to the main topics now. Let's go ahead and get into this. So, Sony has officially acquired Insomniac Games.
All right, breaking news.
This was a massive purchase for them. Obviously, I think Slomo put it the best. He said this was the most logical purchase for them to buy was Insomniac Games, just because of the history and the games alone. Obviously, Spider-Man being a mega success is a massive cherry on top. They got tons of IPs they can bring back. Maybe Resistance can make a triumphant return if it's on the table. The opportunity is on the table.
Ryan, it's wonderful news. It's great news, no doubt.
Yes.
But lest we forget why they went multi-plat in the first place. It's because Sony favored Guerrilla Games in terms of marketing over Insomniac Games. That's why Resistance, the games didn't sell as well as the Killzone series because Sony hyped up Killzone more. And Killzone 2 or 3, maybe it was 3, one of them suffered terribly because of the fallout over the PlayStation Network problem, as well as Motorstorm 3. Those games really sold poorly because people just had enough of Sony for that little period of time. So although Sony did the right thing in acquiring them, and probably Insomniac's Ted Price, who was the CEO of the company, probably he always wanted that. That was part of something he wanted. But they did do a dirty move on them, though. I'm not gonna lie. Sony did pull a dirty move on Insomniac because they kind of held them back with certain titles, particularly the Resistance titles, compared to Guerrilla Games. You know what I mean? I never forget that. That's why they went multiplat. That's why they started looking around for deals. Like they ended up in bed with that shyster of a company, EA.
Yeah, we don't want to talk about EA. Nobody want to talk about EA.
They had a few bummer hits as well, didn't they? Didn't they have Fuse? That was such a flop. Fuse. That was around that time that they left Sony and made Fuse, and like very few of their games have really hit big until they went back to Sony and done that deal for the Spider-Man game, and then now Insomniac have blown up again. Like it's like we forget about all their duds, and now we only remember their hits because of the Spider-Man game. It's kind of brought them back into the limelight. I mean, they never left for me. Insomniac, one of my favorite studios in the world. Always have been. I made that no secret. But I felt Sony were a bit unfair to them in terms of marketing. So I watched the whole thing play out. I remember it very well.
Okay. Do y'all see any other games coming out of this awesome purchase? Anything future-based? Y'all just see the same old, like Ratchet and Clank staying, or what do y'all
Sunset
expect?
Overdrive 2?
Well, I think Ratchet and Clank.
Sunset Overdrive 2, he says.
Just based on what somebody, I think Sean Layton had said some stuff in an interview. I think Ratchet and Clank will be their next IP that comes out of the stable. And Sony may make another Ratchet and Clank movie, animated.
Oh
movie.
God, please
So,
no!
Oh
Don't
God,
do that.
no!
Well, they
no.
might. I mean, they might not. I'm just saying they may do that, but I'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I think Ratchet and Clank will be their next one. I don't know.
I don't want a Ratchet and Clank to be their
The
next
guy's
one.
name is hype for another.
I want a Resistance reboot, man. A
Yeah,
reboot on the PS5 of 60 versus 60 or 100 versus 100 players. Let's go big.
Oh yeah, that would be cool too. I'm not knocking that. They've got a. See, I don't know if will Sony be able to just walk in and say we want you to make this, or do you think they take the approach of what are you guys planning next versus stuff like that? That's just kind of the way. I don't know how Sony's going to manage that studio, so we'll have to wait and see. But I wouldn't be shocked if it's Ratchet and Clank. So just to get something
Ratchet and
out.
Clank is. I feel like right. You know why I say not Ratchet and Clank? Not because it's not a good series. I love Ratchet and Clank and Jack and Daxter, all of them. But it's because that actually launched already this gen. Like we got a Ratchet and Clank. It's time for a Resistance now. Let's do them on rotation. If we get another Ratchet and Clank, and that's unusual as well. Usually developers don't tend to make their next game is never the same game they released last gen. It's a new project. Then they return. Like they do a rotation thing, right? Like a DJ on the deck.
Yeah, well, I agree. Resistance would be cool because it does have multiplayer. I know Sony would.
But the movie flopped. The movie flopped for Sony. Big flop, that Ratchet and Clank movie. I don't know why, because a lot of people liked it and it was very competently made. It's just it flopped.
Yeah, the Emoji movie, it actually made.
You just bring up the Emoji movie. Come on, bro.
Oh, that was a Sony. No. That was a Sony movie too, animated movie, but it made.
It was, but do we really need to be reminded?
Do we really have to go down the rabbit hole?
No, we don't. It's a gaming podcast. No, it's I think Resistance would be fine. I never played it. I never had a PlayStation 3, so yeah, that would be fine. Yeah.
You never had a PlayStation 3?
No, at that time I switched to Xbox when the PlayStation president came out.
I can hear Mr. T from the A-Team saying, "I pity the fool."
Oh, I couldn't pity. My wallet preferred it. The PlayStation was like
PS3, man.
$5,000.
That had some. No, but I mean, toward the end of its generation, all the best games came out. And
I agree.
It was cheap.
I agree with you. Yeah, it was cheap. Yeah.
So you didn't play The Last of Us at launch?
No, I just played it this generation. It's still one of the best games I ever played. Yeah.
Good Lord, man.
Yeah, but it was in 4K in this generation, so I got to play it during this generation.
You wouldn't have cared about. Let me tell you something. If you'd have played The Last of Us on launch night, I played it at midnight. Yeah.
Hey,
I went out and I went into a store for that. One of the few games I went in store that opened at midnight to pick it up, right? Yeah. And I put it in my PS3. and oh man, it was I was whisked away out of reality into the crying game. It was amazing.
Oh, I was shocked.
I didn't
I
care
mean,
about 4K.
shocked.
I didn't when I was playing it. Not once did I think, oh man, I wonder what this will look like next generation.
Well, yeah, I was shocked. I mean, when I think shout out to another YouTuber, Psycho Gamer. He said even when you boot that game up and it just has that window, the stained window, and the way the curtain is blowing, that's how much attention to detail. That was the first thing that caught my eye. I'm like, oh my god, I'm in for an experience. And then I called a couple people like, is this game everything they said it is? And people say yes, it's the best game ever made. I'm like, I didn't. It was good. It wasn't as good as Horizon Zero Dawn, but it was good.
It's hard to go back. It's hard to go back. Actually, I've tried. Believe me, I've tried. But it's really hard to go back to PS3 now. It's not because the graphics aren't good. It's just it's so slow. Everything's so you know the PS4 is so fast and streamlined compared to the PS3. Like as soon as you put a game in, because you haven't played on your PS3 for a while, there's an update, or you might have to do something, to do with the console system because you haven't used it in a while. Well, it's like an hour before you get to play the fucking game. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. No, I mean, like I said, it's no, I didn't have a 3, but yeah, let's wait and see what Insomniac does. I'm glad that turned out to be true. Like I said, my sources are impeccable. If you listen to my podcast, you knew about this 5 to 6 months ago.
You have to say the lines, read from it. Run from it.
Yeah, so we'll have to wait and see if the other purchases are legit. We'll have to wait and see.
Okay. I got you. Another thing that's going around. This is courtesy of our Discord. It looks like what was it? Hold on. Remedy might indeed be getting bought out as somebody's buying stocks. Hold on. Yeah, large amount of stocks sold ahead of Control by Remedy.
That may not be good. So that may not be a good sign.
Actually might be.
It wouldn't surprise me if it's Tencent. They're buying everything.
You think it's Tencent?
No, I don't think it's Tencent. I don't think that. It wouldn't surprise me if it was Tencent.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or
y'all
Sony.
Think,
Sony.
That's what I was going to say. Sony. Y'all think it's a possibility of Sony? Because they did say there was a report going around that Sony had more studios they were looking to purchase.
No. I mean, usually if a company dumps its stock, you don't dump a stock before an acquisition. Your stock will go up. You would think their stock people would be buying it if they got wind that a purchase is imminent. So maybe they don't think the Control game is going to be reviewed that well. That's what it could be as well. That's just basic stock. Generally, a company will not dump stock if
Maybe they just sold. Maybe it's got nothing to do with an acquisition.
True, and it could be nothing.
Maybe they just dumped some stock. They dumped it. Maybe it might benefit them to do that. You don't know what's going on.
Yeah, we don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, although tomorrow when that market report comes out, if it's see a big minus sign, I'm like, oh no.
If Sony is buying another company, I would look at Remedy because Sony are very much a single player campaign perfectionists when it comes to their games. That's what they really, hone in on in terms of and that's exactly what that studio does, those games. So it wouldn't shock me in any way at all if either greedy Tencent bought the whole world and everyone in it, or Sony picked up Remedy and decided, you know what, they're singing our tune, let's get them.
I think I think people, of course, I wasn't at the studio, but there were several people that have said that somebody that calls himself Yoshida was seen at the Remedy studio, and that the Remedy devs took a tour of Naughty Dog studio. So it's odd for a third party studio to come into another first party studio. It's not unheard of. It's just it's odd, but we'll have to wait and see. So give it a few more days. See what happens.
Do you know what though? Control does look interesting, but unfortunately, it has that over familiarity about it for me. It feels like just an evolved Quantum Break, which is an evolved, Max Payne, which is an evolved whatever their original game was. It just doesn't. I think they stick too close. I think they play it too safe.
Mm-hmm.
They do interesting things. They do interesting things with like weapons and gameplay and mechanics, but in terms of the aesthetic, like what's the difference between Quantum Break and Control? Really, at first glance, it looks like it's DLC.
Well, yeah, but
Okay,
yeah, but that's the thing is that they said it's a successor to Quantum Break, and again, I'm interested in it because I like the world that they've created. I mean,
It looks like she's in a Rubik's cube firing guns.
Yeah, which is fine. I mean, I'm interested in that type of world as far as the game in it, and so yeah, I don't get there would be no Uncharted 2 because the gameplay in Uncharted 1 was just so, but the world that they had created is what people fell in love with, and the character. So is she a character? Yeah,
the gameplay in Uncharted 1 was so.
It was okay. It wasn't anything, but
so according to your opinion, I love the
that's
hell
my
out.
opinion. Yeah, but they improved it in Uncharted 2, and they expanded the world, and that's what Remedy can do with the Quantum Break world.
But explain why was it? I just want you to qualify so. What?
That was just so.
What was it about Uncharted 1's gameplay that didn't tick every box for you?
Well, to me, it was just generic. I thought they improved it physically.
But what can you do with a guy in a jungle with a gun different?
Well, that's the thing. It was nothing. It was generic. They changed it in Uncharted 2. It was more open. So
do you think Gears is generic?
Gears, not for me, no. I was like using that.
Well, they're the same game because if you think about it, you dodge behind cover, you shoot, you get a new wave, you dodge behind cover, you shoot, you get a new scene, you dodge behind cover.
Oh yeah, I understand what you're saying. Yeah, overall, yeah. Well, I mean, Mass Effect's the same way. Of course, I was going to sneak that in, but overall, I'm just saying that my point is that the world that they created is what they're selling. And I don't know about the character. People can say Quantum Break was trash. That's fine. But the people that I've talked to that played Quantum Break that said the game was trash said the world was cool. So let's see if they've improved on the character and the mechanics.
The game, I don't understand people. How can it be trash? If you don't like it, you don't like it. But why degrade it to such a low level as trash? Do people not understand the amount of effort it goes into making video games? Like the man hours, the dedication to the craft. Now, I'm not defending developers, but when people say a game is trash, like there are trash games, but I don't think Quantum Break falls into that category.
I don't disagree.
It's got potential. It just wasn't. It wasn't executed properly with the first one.
It was short. If it was double the length, I think it would have got higher scores. I think it was short. It was a very brief, action-packed game.
But see, the word Ryan used is correct. Potential.
Yeah, it was potential.
So does this game have the potential?
That's better. Great? Yeah, potential is better than trash. When you say trash.
Yeah,
like
that's what I'm saying.
I mean, it's a cool concept.
People said the Order 1886 was trash, and I looked at them and I
laughed at you like, bro, that game is pure potential.
I can't even laugh at that because there's nothing funny about it. You wonder what this person respects nothing. They're the type of person like they'll meet a girlfriend and go, maybe the girl's into opera and they're not, and they'll just fucking criticize the whole performance without respecting the craft. You know what I mean? You don't like it, fair enough, but it's still art. It's still craft.
Well, you got people saying that Control is trash, even though they haven't played it. They were like, well, such and such played it, and he said it was just okay. That means it's blah. I'm like, dude, people
have said Zelda's trash. People have said
Days Gone was trash.
Is gonna be trash, and I heard people saying that The Witcher 3 was trash, and I'm like, damn, what planet, what multiverse where you're still playing on Atari 2600s are you from?
No, I agree. I'm all about them. I mean, if Sony were to purchase Remedy and Control and Quantum, all that stuff, it's the world with the potential, like Ryan said. Let's look at the potential and then go from
I like that word.
there.
Potential is so much better than just saying, oh, it's trash. Just because you don't like it. Do you know what I mean? Not you, Craig. I'm talking about
I got you.
People in general. Someone doesn't like something. It's not their genre. It's trash. They just, that's their go-to word.
That's like the go-to. Yeah, I understand that.
And this is on social media. As a developer, someone who, put so many blood, sweat, and tears into the game, you see them kind of statements. Like, I don't know how I would feel if I was a developer. I don't know. It's disheartening.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's sad, but no, I mean, I'm excited for Control. I'm getting it. I'm going to be recording gameplay, and hopefully, Friday, if I can do a podcast, the gameplay will be able to be streamed, kind of like Ryan streaming this this gun wielding game.
Yeah,
So we'll have to wait and see.
shout out to everybody in the chat. 130 people watching. Y'all might hit that like button. Hit that like button.
Everyone
First.
hit the like button.
Thank you.
Well, Eyes of War made a good point. Xbox One is trash. That's a fact. All right, you got it.
I mean, for the most part, like you can tell when the game is not going to be good. Perfect example, the new Battletoads. That's
oh God, why? I purposely, you know what's funny? I purposely avoided that game completely for this show. I was like, "There's no way I'm gonna talk about that game."
Yeah,
well, I can talk about it because I'm a big, old school retro kind of guy. I played on the Sega Genesis. I played on the SNES, and from quality and seeing how the game is being reiterated, I'm truly disappointed.
I think we can agree.
Really?
No, I think we can agree the art style for it is actually not the problem. Yeah. Some people don't like the art style, but I think the art style is not necessarily the problem. The problem is the pacing of like the way the way the characters move and the actual combos. They're so slow and sluggish.
Which game are we talking about? Sorry.
Oh, he's Battletoads, new Battletoads that was shown.
Oh, that's awful. You see, that's like, you know what it looks like? That looks like, you know what? I like the art style.
I do too,
like
yeah, it's fine.
That's
It looks like
the best thing, right? It's super clear and beautiful to look at, and the colors just pop. I love that. But the slow, you know what it feels like? It feels like it's running on an old processor that can't keep up. Like it's meant to run faster, but it's just running in slow motion. Yeah. I looked at it and I thought, I remember Battletoads being a lot quicker than this. Even the NES version was faster than that.
Oh hell yeah!
Oh really?
Yeah, it was faster. It's faster. Check out the evolution. I could have put this in the video, but I didn't want to do that. Obviously, copyright thing. But I'll tell you what, I'll link you to a video, Craig, where it shows the history of Battletoads. Yeah, I'll show you the history of Battletoads, and basically you'll see how fast paced the game was, even on the Sega and whatnot, all those old systems, compared to this one. It's very slow.
The NES graphics tended to flicker a lot because that was its like Achilles heel.
Yeah, that was
it flickered, but at least it moved quickly.
You all do know that the frogs filed a complaint. You must call the game Battle Reptiles because the frogs feel left out. So you can't call it Battletoads no more because that makes the toads feel bad. So you have to call it Battle Reptiles. But if it's that, I'll have to take a look at it if it's really that bad.
It's bad, bro.
It's bad. No. It's not terrible. It's not terrible. It's just slow.
It's very, very slow. Like if you speed up the video, that's how it should be running. Like at that particular speed.
Yeah, when I said awful, I didn't mean like the game's awful as in trash. I meant it's awful that it's so slow. Like it does. It feels like, and the way the waves come. I mean, I saw an IGN snippet about it, and they said they didn't like the fact that you scroll for a bit, then the screen stops, and you're having all these waves of enemies. Then it lets you scroll on a bit further for a bit. Like the old 2D games, but slightly different.
Mm-hmm.
Like you could still scroll with them old 90s 2D games like Fight Night. You could still scroll until you got to the boss, yeah? All you'll do is bring more enemies out when you scroll. But this Battletoads, you scroll until you find an enemy, and then you can't scroll anymore. And it's like it becomes like you have to clear all of these characters on screen until you can move on again. That is like very archaic and antiquated gameplay.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, I'm about to check it out if it's that.
You're in for a treat.
It's like Game & Watch. You remember Game & Watch, the original Game & Watch back in the 80s?
Yeah,
the one screen ones where everything happened on one screen. That's like they're trying to do with Battletoads.
Yeah, wait a minute. Is it 4K?
Oh my god!
4K, but it looks.
No, so it's 4K. That's what we're talking about.
Look at the graphics.
Say it's a 4K of all things.
Look, it's 2D graphics. Do you have to ask, Craig? The game is in 2D. Do you have to ask if it's going to be in 4K?
Well, I'm asking. I haven't seen it. I can hear it talking about it.
My only pet peeve with this game is just that it didn't stick to the essential design of the original characters. It went more to that.
Yeah.
So they don't look like a Battletoad.
I will say this: the positive that I saw from the gameplay was the comment section. That was the positive. That was the positive.
They're still working on it. They're still working on it, though, right? They're still working on it, though.
No, it's done.
When's it coming out?
Are you kidding?
That game's done.
When's it coming out?
Yeah, it's about the launch. It's about the launch version.
They better have a speed up mode in the options.
That game is finished. What are you talking about? They're
They better
done.
have turbo mode in the options because that's like playing through mud.
Well, look, it'll be better. Well, I can tell you this right now. It'll be better on the Scarlet because AMD is going to have that LBM tech on it. So,
Do you remember
Scarlet's
the
got
original
that
Street Fighter on the Super NES? Remember
Yeah,
how
I do
slow
remember
that
that.
was? The launch Street Fighter, you could only get it on Super Nintendo. It was a launch game, packed in, bundle. I bought my bundle with my, Super NES. First Street Fighter 2. That was so slow. And in the arcades, everyone was playing Street Fighter 2 Champion Edition or Turbo or something, right? Much quicker. And we all had to play this. It was like a slideshow. When you threw a fireball, it was like, and I'm talking about the fast one, not the slow fireball, the fast one. It was like a replay in slow motion.
Oh my god! That joint.
But for me, my game is just that the overall design of the characters. I think they should have stuck more to the traditional design of Rash, and the enemies too. The enemies were kind of like under designed, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And quite frankly, I just want to see something that's let it be 2D. Yeah, let it be 2D. But at least Streets of Rage 4 is doing something significantly better.
Yeah, similar graphics, but much better game.
But it has that raw. It has that raw essence of beat 'em up. This game is just like it feels like you're playing one of those mini clip games on
visually,
Flash Adobe.
But visually, Carlos, you have to agree that Streets of Rage 4 and Battletoads don't look that dissimilar. It's the same kind of cartoony.
No, it doesn't look different. It doesn't look different at all. It's just I have like little nitpick parts of each game, but for me, the overall performance and the way that the game and the transitioning from stages to stages, Streets of Rage 4 is actually quite more faster than this battle.
Well, look, I can't disagree that you don't like Battletoads because that's your own thing, your perception.
Mm-hmm.
Who can disagree? But I haven't got a problem with the visuals. It's just the pacing's off. To me, the pacing's off. It's just off. Yeah. It doesn't even fit. It doesn't even fit what the game's supposed to be. I think they should bring back Biker Mice from Mars. I want to play that again.
If I really had a pet peeve for this, though, I would just go back to the start of the generation. Y'all remember, what was it, Rash? What was the name? Rash was in Killer Instinct?
Yeah.
So my thing is this: you already have a placeholder, basically. Not placeholder, but you have, I would say, a standard that you could have made the game be like if they really wanted to impress us. That type of level of detail, especially with the X.
Yeah, they could
have done something like that.
They could have done it like that.
Yeah, something like that.
That would have been amazing, but nah, we didn't get that. But yeah,
the thing is that Microsoft,
we got the Nickelodeon style Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, bro. That's what we got with that.
I love having to criticize Microsoft, or literally on every podcast. I do look; it becomes boring after a while, honestly. But they just give you so much to complain about, though. Here's the problem.
It does.
No, but here's the problem. They're just feeding us. It's like junk food for gamers. Like, we're regurgitating it. We're just throwing it up. But here's the thing, right? They teased Battletoads. Didn't Phil Spencer wear a T-shirt like years ago?
Yes.
Like they teased us for so many years, and this is what they give us.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I certainly hope it. I'll look at it, but the name of the game sounds horrible. But I'll look at it. So I'm not,
it's gonna be free anyway.
It's
gonna be free.
Do take the time to watch it.
It's gonna be free. You pay $1 and you can play it. Don't worry. If it's slow, it's slow money. $1 is very slow to.
Let's talk about let's shift the focus from Xbox. Let's shift it back to PlayStation for a second here. The dev kits, the new dev kit design that was patented. Now a lot of people were talking about it. It was leaked. A lot of people didn't think it was necessarily real. They confirmed that it was courtesy of a developer. I forgot which company he works for. But he confirmed that it's real. And then like literally the following day later, they came out with like these these pictures, like these little scans of it, with all the Eternals in it, and gave you a there you go, 3D render, the 3D render.
The render.
Yeah, the 3D
you know what?
render.
The render makes it all look so much better. The diagrams, I didn't like them.
Yeah, I didn't like the diagrams.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't get any confirmation from even the people I know
Wow.
about I couldn't. I think the reason why
The tight
is they're
lips.
not talking. They're not. I think a lot of them aren't talking now. Right? I don't like to call them, insiders, because they're not. They're not. I don't like to say that. They work where they work. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And I happen to know them. But the thing is, nobody's talking. I feel like we're getting so close to marketing materials now and PR
Yeah.
that NDAs are really being enforced. And I mean it. These NDAs are career ending. You don't see it ran a guy off Twitter who worked for Codemasters. His account's gone.
Yep. That is true.
Wow.
To get back on the actual design, the 3D renders, to be honest and to be fair, it kind of looked like binoculars. the design, the way it looked, the way the shape was, the way binoculars. Everybody was, everybody was breaking it down.
You remember the ship in Prometheus?
Oh God, don't start, please.
The ship that had the aliens
Don't
on
start.
it?
Yeah. That's how that little centerpiece where the vibe is supposed to be.
This is what I took from the
you know,
design. I'm not even gonna get into design choice. This is what I took from it. Right, the ventilation was the main thing I took note of. A lot of ventilation was on the unit. True, but there's a lot of ventilation. We talked about this on the podcast. This we're going back to.
Guys, so long ago that it has two cooling systems. It has a vapor cooling system like the Xbox One X, and it has a regular fan. That is why it's built that way. It needs ventilation.
It needs a lot of ventilation
because it's double. It's almost what's in there is double what you're getting in the retail unit anyway. Like double the RAM. Extra overheads are in the dev kit compared to retail units, right? Retail units are stripped down versions of dev kits. We all know that. But that's why the first thing that stood out to me from the original diagrams, not the renders, but the original diagrams in the pattern, was look at the vending going round on, it goes literally around this stackable V-shaped dev kit console, right? And I said, oh man, it's true. They've used it. They're literally having to keep that thing cool with like vapor chamber technology and a regular fan. And I reckon that the retail unit is going to come with dual cooling systems.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know why it's a big deal.
It's funny though. It was funny. I was being an asshole about it. Basically, I tweeted. I was like, "Yo, this looks kind of lit." And Lobo took note of the people who came at me with the debate. When I was like, "Dude, this looks kind of lit," and everybody was like, "Right, that looks hideous." I'm like, "Oh God, guys, it's not the final design. It's not the final look. It's not the final look." I'm just saying, from what it is based.
Oh man, anyone who thinks it's gonna launch like that is
it's not gonna look like that. It says SSD on the front, for God's sakes.
Yeah, noticed that. It's gonna look nothing like that.
Yeah.
It's not even gonna resemble it. Trust me.
Not even that. I remember that the PS2 dev kit looked like a freaking gateway computer when they first.
Yeah. Or the PS3. Y'all remember the PS3 dev kits? Remember back when they had the boomerang shaped controller?
Oh yeah.
Y'all remember that? Like a lot of people forgot about that joint.
Yeah, bring that thing back. I kind of.
That's not a practical design.
Yeah.
For a consumer. Yeah. All right. It's all right if you're in an office making games with others stacked on top of it, like 3 or 4 units stacked up. I don't know. Maybe that's how they're gonna make the pro version, like 2, 3 of them on top of each other.
I mean, if you get pissed off enough, you could just probably use the controller as a boomerang and.
Yeah. Well, again, I just think it's a dev kit. I don't know what that can look like anything. It's just something that they're using. But I agree. Yeah, the Fox is right. It's not gonna look like that. The system.
But if it did launch like that, though, if Sony were just insane and launched it like that, I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind because I don't look at the console when I'm playing video games. I look at the screen.
Yeah, that's a good point. I hope it turns color. Why don't they make a console with the RBG in it or whatever that's called?
RGB,
yeah, let's do that with it. I mean,
RGB.
That would be nice. That would be nice.
RGB.
Let's just move on and wait till they actually do a rough draft of the actual design, and then we can, nitpick. But this
all it's going to be doing is collecting dust on your shelf on the right somewhere. That's what I find funny too. A lot of people are really making a big deal about this design. I'm like, guys, it's going to be collecting dust on your mantle. A lot of you are not dusting these consoles.
You just got people that are just, they love the aesthetics and how to look at things in a design perspective. So it's understandable, but At the same time, bro, it's just something to laugh at. That's the way I just see it.
Yep. Well, let's move on here. I think this came back to Microsoft. That's why I got off of this, just to mix it up. Microsoft came out with a statement saying that they will no longer be supporting PlayStation and Nintendo Switch in terms of putting their first-party games on them. However, they did say in the fine print that they will honor. They did say in the fine print that they will honor all their commitments that they already have currently on the market. So, for example, Ori and the Blind, or Ori is on the Switch. That's going. Whatever other games are going to the Switch are going. Vice versa. So they will honor those particular commitments. However, there was another statement that came out that said that this is their long-term goal, literally like a week later. So I don't know who to believe at this point. It's very contradictory.
Man, it's lies.
Here's what you believe. You believe Satya Nadella. Satya Nadella wants games on everybody's platform. That's ipso facto. That's what that man wants. So it doesn't matter what Matt Booty says. Doesn't matter what Phil Spencer says. Doesn't matter what Aaron Greenberg says. Doesn't matter what that guy that gives you chili at Microsoft says. They are going to put their games on all platforms.
He's right.
And I'm glad it's been confirmed because I've been saying that shit for about 9 months. Game Pass will be on PlayStation.
Craig, you're right. You're right about suck your dollar. I mean, sack Nadella.
I mean, he's the one in charge, and the only reason why they keep doing things is because they want to do what Microsoft did back in the day, which is just bring the software and you just go buy it. That's it. They can't be running around saying things like, we want you to play the games where you want, when you want to. Okay, what if I want to play the games on the Switch? That means you have to make the games on the Switch. That's a open-ended statement, and what shocks me is just how these people in the community go full retard trying to damage control it. They are going to put games. They're open. Let me make that clear. They're open to putting games everywhere. They shopped Halo to PlayStation. PlayStation said no. What did these retards say? Well, it never got to the coding stage, therefore it doesn't count. It's like they sat down, they made the offer, and the offer was refused. That's the point.
Here's the real question, Craig. Here's the real question we should all be asking, and I know the answer to it. That why would Microsoft put a statement like that out now? I tell you why. Because they're gearing up to sell you a new console. They don't want you to think that, oh, why should I buy this new Scarlet when you're releasing all of your games on other platforms? So they said this so that you, in your mind, think that you need their console or at least an expensive PC, one or the other. Because if everybody was aware that all Microsoft's games were really 100% categorically going to all platforms, they'll be shooting themselves in the foot. Why would they? Who's buying their box? So no wonder they're saying it now, because they're gearing up to the marketing side like Sony is. So this is why the rhetoric is now. But I guarantee you, once those launch games hit Scarlet, give it a year after they've launched, we'll be hearing about them going to other places.
Well, I don't disagree with you. I'm just glad it's people. I've seen different podcasters, won't name them, that say, well, this is a confusing message. No, it's not. No, it's not. Satya Nadella wants games on all platforms. That's what they're going to do. And yes, I get it. It hurts your fanboy weenie that you can't sit around and say that we got this and that. But at the end of the day, they're putting games. They're open to putting games on all platforms. It's just that's reality, So and they have to get over this. And that's why I was saying months ago, when I play Gears of War on my PlayStation, I wonder what button is going to be for the saw, for the chainsaw gun. That's why I was asking that. You think I was just like, you're just saying that out of the blue? No, it's not. No, it's not. I already know this is going to happen because Xbox has no choice. What Sony and Nintendo have done to Xbox has been nothing less than a molestation of them this generation, and they lost this generation, and it was the worst generation to lose going forward. So you have Nintendo and Sony have exclusive content. They're selling. Microsoft doesn't, and they're not. What part of this are you guys not understanding? And when they had exclusive content, they didn't go buy it. They didn't buy it. So
another reason they might have made a statement is also that we've recently heard news that Xbox One sales have literally dried up. It's like
Yeah.
Really?
literally no water in the desert at all. It's all
Yeah, I
dry.
think they
So no
posted
wonder
on
they're
Twitter.
saying this. No, they feel forced to like encourage people to go out and buy the box because, you know, like I said, if everyone believes that, you know, we can get these games elsewhere, I mean, why? Who's buying in their box?
Mm-hmm.
Well, is it true that they only sold? And I don't know if it was a screenshot or somebody. You know, people can make those
So
change
somebody
things
was showing
around.
something on Twitter about their sales.
Yeah,
I think it
they
was like an
sold
inferior
30
consoles on it.
Yeah, they sold 39 consoles in Japan. Or did somebody
Yes,
remove some of the
that's true.
zeros?
That's true.
I mean, because that's what I was saying. Is that real, or did somebody like
That's
Photoshop
true,
39?
bro. That's true, bro.
That's
Because
terrible.
they're well, you gotta keep in mind their presence in Japan has always been weak.
Yeah, but 39
And guess what? You know what's worse than that? Those 39 people all have
Ah,
mental
damn
health
it.
issues.
No, I wouldn't try to, you know, let's not try to shit too much on them. Let's just give them the benefit of a doubt because they are the advocates for crossplay. They are the advocates for the
Lord.
Play Anywhere initiative. They have done so much for gaming that it's literally the cuspus of greatness.
The way you
Yeah,
set that up,
fucking right.
I thought you was going to be compassionate for a second.
Oh Lord.
I'm not gonna be compassionate, man.
I
I'm
know,
just
I
gonna...
know. It's funny the way you set that
That
up.
man's heart is made of
hilarious.
wood. We already know this.
He said, "Let's." You know what he said. You know what he
I can
said.
be a little bit sensitive.
Rewind. You know what he said, Carlos. Let me. You know what? Just in case anyone in the chat missed it or they need like someone to translate. He said, basically,
Damn it.
let's not shit on Xbox because, and then he went into a tirade about how useless they are.
39 consoles. Are you kidding me?
Oh Jesus!
Nah, bro. I mean, look. This generation has proven to the Xbox brand that for next generation they're gonna have to step up the ante when it comes to actual content.
Oh, it's more than that.
You know
bro.
what's funny though? You know
Can't
what's
do more than
funny?
that.
You know what's funny? They might not be moving consoles, but they're making a lot of money on Xbox Live.
Oh yeah. Through the services that they're providing, yeah, they're
So the
making a
people
hell
who
of
are people who are actively engaged in Xbox are making Microsoft a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean,
They are.
again, and that's what it's all about, according to them, is that Microsoft makes more money, and therefore, their fuckery can continue. So, I mean, that's what it's all about for these clowns. So, that's what it's all about. I mean, if you come back to me and I'm pushing product somewhere, you say I sold 39 units, I'm throwing you under the fucking jail. I mean, that is ridiculous.
Even the PS2 must sell more than that in Japan.
I mean, come on. I mean, 39 units. I mean, that's terrible because fat people don't fail cooking. How are you going to sell 39? How are you going to sell 39 consoles? That's horrible. I mean, that's Justice League.
This is a company
they're
that
probably, they are. They're probably American. They're probably based there, American soldiers or something.
That's true, and they get a discount.
There's probably 39 Marines out there that want an Xbox.
Oh, so we gotta look at the monthly for Japan. Ain't it usually like 100 or something like that for them in Japan?
I don't know. Whatever it is bad. I mean, if they turn around next month and they sell 80 consoles, they doubled their output. I mean, that's bad, man. I mean, this is bad. That number's real. If the number's real. Yeah, let me make that clear.
Aside from the silly, obviously the silly gimmicks aside, right, with the Xbox, they got to get that name right for sure. With the Scarlet version, obviously it's not going to be called Scarlet because let's be real, we all thought the Xbox X was going to be called Scorpio, which would have been a better name. So obviously it's not going to be called Scarlet. So Scarlet's going to be called something else. So that name, I'm telling you right now, it better be catchy. It's got to be catchy. Otherwise, it's going to be square one. We're back to square one basically because
they should just call it Xbox, man.
No, see that's not too. No, that's not even enough. You think about it.
Just Xbox.
Just call it Xbox.
No one remembers. The casuals don't remember the original Xbox.
Okay. And what happens when we get into Elite?
A lot of them were born at the time it came out.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't remember the original Xbox. So all they remember is Xbox 360, Xbox One. So why can't they call it Xbox? It's not going to confuse anybody.
So what happens when we get to like let's say we do get the mid-gen refreshes?
Don't name them. Just make upgrades of Xbox and discontinue the old one.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
shit.
would call it Xbox, man.
That's
They
why
don't sound
mid-gen
like-
refresh like the Pro.
God damn.
They better call it-
You know what? You know what? You know what? You know what Microsoft do? Because they Microsoft really they only care about services, right? So the box is only a showpiece. It's not. They're not expecting huge sales. They just want some presence in the living room, right? Otherwise, it's just information going into your house from Microsoft. So they want you to have something physical to say this is a Microsoft Xbox product, right? So that's why they're still making consoles. But there's nothing wrong with naming it Xbox, just Xbox, having a really great design. And then when they make the Pro version or the upgrade version, still just call it Xbox and phase out the old one or make it cheaper. And they can say, they can call it, it doesn't affect Apple. How many versions of the iPhone 5 came out? Come on now.
I'm gonna call it the Durango.
Right?
Xbox 39. Xbox 39.
They called the damn Durango. There you go.
They
Reference to
should call it,
360.
I think Microsoft should put
720.
numbers. I think Microsoft should drop the numbers.
Yeah.
Don't use numbers anymore.
Yeah.
Xbox One X.
PS5, it just sounds simple with Sony. They're not gonna call it the Orbis or something.
Well, didn't they call it? Wasn't there a Scorpio version out?
There was a Scorpio
It's
edition,
one-
yeah. There was a black
Scorpio
Scorpio
edition,
edition.
so-
But it was still
Yeah,
One X.
Yeah,
It was still the Xbox One X.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, again, let's call it Xbox 39. Call it ain't selling. I mean, let's come out with some exclusive game.
Xbox.
How the hell we get the Xbox 39 though?
You know what they should call it? I got a name. And this is a joke. I don't mean this, but it just came to me.
Lord.
They should call it the Xbox Exodus because everyone's leaving.
That's what it sounds like.
Y'all
That's
are
what it sounds
officially the worst.
It's our
all I gotta
goodbye
say.
console.
Yeah,
It's
bro.
the goodbye
Exodus,
console.
man. My
The
God,
goodbye.
that is
Xbox
very-
Exodus. Y'all heard it first. You're on
Xbox
some-
Exodus. Moses pie in the sea. Everyone's leaving or drowning.
Oh my God.
Oh
Then
god.
next thing you know, you have a prophet just like Moses coming to Phil and everybody else. Let my games go.
I hear Bob Marley song. Exodus, movement of the gamers. Dun, 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 dun.
Oh, Lord.
Hey, shout out to the 150 people watching. Hey, hit that like button, please. Please,
Shout out to the
welcome.
150 plus, man.
No, but
Welcome
seriously,
to-
Donald Trump is looking at the wrong kind of immigrant. Like, we got a lot of people coming over to PlayStation from Xbox. We need to build a wall because not all of them are nice people. Some of them are nice
Oh,
people.
my
but
God.
some of them. No, let me do my. Come on. Some of them are nice people. I mean, there's good people on both sides. But some of them are trolls. Some of them are haters, and I assume some of them are good people. Build a wall.
Yeah.
Fucking
Yeah.
God.
Build a wall. Do something. I mean,
This man said, "Build the wall." I'm done.
it's got to be 39.
Yeah, you know what? And the Democrats are standing between funding. We need $5 billion to keep these suckers out. Okay,
Yeah.
off the network. Off the network.
And the wall needs to be 39 feet high. That's the number of units they sold in Japan.
That's a joke, by the way. I don't mean it. Everybody's welcome. Go wherever you want.
What they need to do. No. I think it needs to be 39 feet high. I think that's perfect. So.
Y'all are crazy as hell. Oh god. Let's move on, shall we? Move on.
Yeah.
All right. So
But that's true, though. That's true, though, right? That's true, though, right? There are good and bad on both sides, right?
yes, of
Oh
course.
yeah,
of course.
there's always bad and good.
You got Sony supremacists. You got Xbox supremacists. You got progressives. People who just want everyone to get along.
You know that's gonna be trending on Twitter. I can already see somebody doing it. Build the wall, and they're gonna put Foxy's like fucking avatar. You know that's gonna be trending. I just gave the idea. Oh, I'm done.
He's
move
creating
on.
the MAGA of gaming consoles now.
Make gaming great again.
Lord. I'm done. I am fucking done.
With this shit. Do not follow all the things that are being said in this podcast, people.
You know, it's not MAGA, it's MAGA.
Oh, Lord.
It's not MAGA. You have to pronounce it because it's make
There's
gaming
another
great.
G.
Yeah, so it's MAGA.
Oh,
Oh,
man. This is crazy.
Here's
Oh my
we get
God.
Lady Gaga. We get Lady Gaga.
Oh,
La 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 ma gaga ma gaga.
God. Oh
I
God.
am done.
Build a wall. Build a wall. Right?
Oh my
We
God.
just spend a tremendous amount of money. I'm gonna be brilliant at building.
Alright.
Gonna be like, I'm gonna take all those developers from those companies.
That's right. We want all of the developers out of China. No more Tencent. China. Bring them back to the US and Europe. All this cheap software labor.
Oh,
Oh
Damn,
Jesus.
Foxy. You going for the
We're gonna have a
jugular.
pixel war. Pixel war. A pixel proxy war.
Oh my God, this is hilarious. Let's move on to the other big trending topic. I don't know. I don't even know what to believe at this point. There's so many conflicting reports. I'm just gonna go off of what we got. Okay. So Spider-Man. There was a big, huge dispute with Spider-Man and the MCU and his character usage. Now, basically, supposedly the deal was that Disney wanted half of the actual publishing rights or something like that for Spider-Man, and Sony said no. Then there was a report that came out that the deal was 25 to 30. Then all of a sudden that was said to be not true. So it's really a bunch of conflicting reports. And then we got a report, I think yesterday, that Tom Holland would not be in the MCU according to him or something like that. So it was a lot of
Well, he can't. He's
crazy
contracted
things.
to. Well, he can't. He's legally contracted to Sony to make another picture and probably another one after that. So there's no way he can go talking to Marvel about being in an MCU.
Well, here's the thing. There was one more movie on the table for Marvel. I'm pretty sure it was one more movie. So I'm thinking he
Listen,
would.
they're gonna sort this out.
No. It
Trust me.
wasn't.
It wasn't one more. I
This
thought it
is
was
gonna
one more
get
movie.
sorted.
No, it was an optional.
Oh,
Look,
okay.
Look,
Listen,
there was a report.
I'm gonna make a prediction. By January of 2020, they're gonna have a deal on the table.
Yeah, they'll have something else. The bottom line is the reason why in Far From Home, there was a building that they were supposed to put in it that they could not put in there. That was the first sign, and they all came out and said, "Well, we couldn't get a deal to put that in there." So that was the first sign. But at the end of the day, it's I didn't like the fact they didn't get it done, but both groups will be fine. Sony wants to.
It'll hurt Disney more than it'll hurt Sony. Because
No,
Sony don't
Disney.
Sony make nothing. Sony don't make a dime from those Avenger movies, right?
Well, right, but Disney has 1,500 to 2,000 new characters to deal with the X-Men coming in, and Sony can finally put these guys have had this wet dream about a Spider-Man Venom team-up movie or whatever you want to call it. They will get their wish because now that movie is being fast-tracked.
Yeah,
So
but it's not
they'll be
fair.
fine.
Imagine, Craig, imagine you buy a house, yeah, for $250,000, right? It's just a humble house, $250,000. You pay for the house. It belongs to you.
Mhm.
But then someone moves in next door and decides, well, I feel like we should have 50% of that house. And
Oh no, I mean, again, it was a whether I don't know if that was true or not because nobody can get an accurate report. Deadline, they actually are standing by their report that Sony offered.
I believe
25%.
Lee's daughter, Joan Lee. She said that Disney and Marvel executives treated her father the worst. No one could have treated him worse, right? And I believe it. You know why? Stanley was trying to tell us before he died in tweets that he was being mistreated. And there was court cases going on. Like even his carer was mistreating him. And I reckon Disney was paying for that carer. I think that was part of his contract. Yeah, and people were saying, oh, how did Disney treat him badly when he was he had a cameo in every movie? That's not them being kind. He probably insisted.
Yeah.
In his contract when he sold it to them, that's how it's going to be.
Remember, that's extra screen time that could have been cut if you think about it. They didn't have to include nothing. But they
they did have to include.
No, I'm saying if he didn't have the stake in
it
the
was
company,
in his when he sold to Marvel, right? When he sold to Disney Marvel, I reckon his lawyers, at his request, made it a point that he wants to be in every movie as a cameo until the day he dies, because he wants to be remembered as the creator, the originator, the co-creator of those works, not forgotten and it just taken over by this big corporation. So I reckon that Disney begrudgingly allowed him cameos in movies. It wasn't a nice gesture or a favor on their part. So I don't know why people in the media are saying, oh, well, Disney was good to him. Listen to his daughter. She would know. What do you know as a a reporter.
They tried to flip the
that's what
script.
the-
They said that she was abusive to him. That's what they did. They flipped the script.
Nah, that wasn't the case. Cause even Stan Lee came out with a very openly vivid video of him discussing his situation with his daughter and how the media was trying to flip it around to make his daughter seem like if she wasn't taking care of him.
But she wasn't though. She wasn't taking care of him
And she-
though. He had a carer doing it. He had a carer, probably
their
paid
first-
for by Disney.
Well, their first negotiation, Sony was negotiating from a position of weakness. They just had the Sony leaks. Amy Pascal was in major hot water. The two Spider-Man movies with Andrew Garfield had underperformed. And so Kevin Feige came in and got the deal that he got. That was a deal that Kevin Feige got down. Now the new deal, Sony makes a movie called Venom, makes over $800 million without Spider-Man. Then they make this Into the Spider-Verse. It wins an Oscar. Now you're coming back with a totally different hand. It's like, look, we don't need you guys. We did a movie with a Spider-Man character, they did Spider-Man Homecoming, and Homecoming made roughly around the same amount of money. So it's just like y'all had Iron Man and Spider-Man in that movie.
Yeah, but Craig, don't forget, they already had a deal in place since 2015. Disney's tried to alter the deal, like Darth Vader in The Empire Strikes Back, and Han Solo said, "We had a
new deal."
Han Solo says Han Solo in The Empire Strikes Back, right? Says to Darth Vader, no, it was Lando Christian. Says to him, he says to Darth Vader, "But we had a deal." He goes, "Pray I don't alter it further." That's Disney.
Yeah, but that's not what happened. That did not happen. They did 5 movies with Spider-Man. The 6th one was optional. So
they got 5%. They got 5% dollar gross. They got 5% of all the takings on the first day on a 5-movie deal. Now the deal came to an end. To renegotiate, Disney decided to get greedy. That is the meat and skinny.
No, I don't disagree with that. But that's what I'm saying is that
they tried to alter the original deal in their favor.
Well, yeah, but that was the first deal is in their favor. The second deal would not have been, because now Sony is coming in with strength. So at that point you had 2 corporations fighting over a billion-dollar property, and both of them are stubborn. They both walked away. It seemed amicable.
I don't agree with this stubborn rhetoric. I mean, Sony has owned the rights to the Spider-Man films for 2 decades. It's not stubborn. It belongs to them.
Well, no, it's still.
Would you let a vagrant off the street?
They bought it legitimately with their
right. And would you let a vagrant off the street just make their way into your house,
but
sleep in your bed?
Okay, but there's been look. They have rehabbed that character from the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man. Now I know Kevin Feige was in on all the Spider-Man. So, but I think, that was bad. Those 2 Spider-Man movies with Andrew Garfield those movies underperformed. So, what Marvel was able to do was they were able, and Sony, because it was a deal, they both rehabbed their image. So, The Far From Home is considered one of the better Spider-Man.
Why? Because Marvel was involved in the production.
No, because they had a great villain in it. They had a great villain. They had a great in-cut scene, which I won't give away. It's unfortunate that they could not get it done. That's on both parties. Yes, if I'm Disney, I'm driving. I come in with a heavy hand, and Sony slapped them back and said, "No, here's what we can do." They didn't agree. Alan Horn was in charge of this negotiation, not Kevin Feige. Maybe if Feige's there, it gets done.
Craig, if they can do without Iron Man in the next Avengers movie, if there is one, right? Then they can do without Spider-Man too.
I don't disagree with that, and they're set up. I just literally said both will be fine. There's not another.
No, but it hurts Disney more though. It hurts Disney fans more. You know why? Because the outcry was that Spider-Man is going to totally disappear from the MCU, right?
Right.
Now, from Sony's point of view, they'd be making Spider-Man films without him being in the MCU for years.
Correct.
So no skin off their nose, really. Is it? Who does it affect?
No, it's not.
Sony or Disney?
Well, but see, going forward in Phase 4, there was no Spider-Man movie planned anyway. So there wouldn't be something coming out in the first Phase 5 movie is Black Panther
Do you
2.
know how many
So they're
characters are
fine.
in the Spider-Man universe that they
Over
could
800.
Right. So at the end of the day, they got enough
Yes.
material to make Spider-Man movies for 50 years time,
Yeah.
100 years time, right? Without ever including any of the MCU characters.
I agree. You're correct. In the
And
MCU,
I'm not advocating Spider-Man shouldn't be in it. I wish they could come to an agreement and everybody's happy. But the fact is, I don't see how it's so detrimental as people are making it out to be.
I don't think it is when you really take a step back and you literally look at the fact that the X-Men characters are now going to be part of the MCU. They will be introduced in Phase 5. Maybe you'll hear
they
about
need to make look, never mind Spider-Man. That's done and dusted. Great game. But they need to bring a Bond game out. Someone needs that Bond license. Let's talk about that.
That got sold. Yeah, Sony lost that to.
Well, I don't care who's got it. Just make a Bond game for crying out loud. Make
Oh,
a
they
good
said a
one.
Bond movie. I might say a new Bond movie's coming out, bro.
Do you know, I reckon, you know who could make the best Bond game on the planet ever made? Do you know who could do it?
Oh,
Naughty Dog.
Yeah, Naughty Dog could.
Because
CD Projekt Red could.
the Uncharted games could easily be made into Bond games.
Yeah,
with the whole stealth, into insertion area.
Just the styling. Even Nathan Drake could have played Bond.
Yeah.
You know the character Nathan Drake? They could have had him as Bond, same face, everything. He would have fitted a Bond. Obviously his accent would have had to change, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. Well, no, they can do CD Projekt Red can do it. But yeah, I don't know why. Well, I know why people. It shocked the hell out of me to hear a bunch of gaming podcasts talking about a movie intellectual property negotiation. I'm like, they don't know what the hell they're talking about. You know,
two don't correlate with one another.
Yeah,
even the merchandising itself does not correlate in with the actual software. Everything else is separate.
I agree.
Everything else is apart from each other. The only thing that I can say, the only thing that I can say as part for character and likenesses is that they do have to pay somewhat of a small percentage cut to Sony. That's about it. It doesn't have to be gradually a lot of money, but just a small percentage just to use the likeness of the character within the merchandising itself. That's what a lot of people don't understand, that this whole scenario is actually character licensing based dispute. It is not about who gets to own, the movies. It's
I'm not happy with Disney at the moment. Their move ups on their own service, their streaming service. Abruptly, Jessica Jones and what's the other one?
Luke Cage.
Luke
Cage gone.
No, it's going to Hulu. They just announced it's going to go.
Yeah, but we would have been watching them by now, is what I'm saying. They would have been on Netflix already, right? Yeah. Another season. All this delay business because of moving and shaking. Don't get me wrong. I understand that's their bottom line and it's their business to do that. But sometimes it's not always good to upset the apple cart,
Mm-hmm.
Disney were coming out with, when they acquired these licenses like Marvel, when they started acquiring the Star Wars things, they kept saying how they want to give projects to all different companies and studios, didn't they?
Yeah.
Everyone from Telltale Games to God knows who. Right? They were all about sharing, but suddenly they want to just have everything to themselves suddenly.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're having filet mignon, you constantly want to eat filet mignon every day, so.
It's I believe, Joan Lee said it best. She said that her father's work deserves a broad spectrum of storytellers from different places, Sony, wherever, not all hogged up by Disney.
Yeah, Disney is literally on a mission though. They just got the X-Men, so you already know they're about to do that. They're getting ready to do the Fantastic Four, which a lot of people have a lot of faith into. Me personally, I'm so tired of the Fantastic Four. I don't really care anymore, even with the, this new revamped Marvel.
I don't think they deserve their own movie. I think they deserve to be characters in a main movie of another hero.
Yeah, like Spider-Man was like
co-stars.
introduced.
You know, like co-stars.
There
Like
you go,
I don't think Fantastic Four have what it takes. They don't have the right writing team, direction, even art to bring the Fantastic Four characters to life.
It'd be a cool
properly in the way
visual.
we deserve.
I'll give them that. Like a cool
It should be
visual
like-
of Fantastic Four would be The Thing versus Hulk. That'd be a cool visual.
The cartoon back in the 80s was better than the movies.
Oh yeah, of course.
Oh yeah, the movies have been bad. Both of them have been horrible. But yeah, they Kevin Feige, he knows what he's doing. So their introduction will be nice. Well, we may start hearing about them at the end of Phase 4. I'd say probably in the Doctor Strange movie is when you'll start hearing the word mutant or mutated DNA. You're gonna hear something about it. So we'll just have to wait and see. Yeah,
Craig, you know what disappointed me the most about this whole thing, though? It's not even the Disney thing. It's that certain people, I'm not even going to name them because they're not worth naming, but a bunch of people, as soon as they heard that, they thought, this is going to affect the Spider-Man games.
Yeah.
Like they were hopeful. Like they were hopeful it was going to have an adverse impact on the arrangement.
It won't. Yeah, but it won't.
No, but the fact that they were hopeful was really like.
It exposed.
People,
you got certified dumbasses on the internet, man.
Yeah,
that's what you have.
you're right, Fox.
Dumbasses.
Their pixels need castrating.
Yeah, well, you're right. And what got exposed, and I said this the other day on my podcast on StreamYard, aka The Ghetto, as Ryan Big Cloud would say. I literally, and I had to apologize to people, but I said I really underestimated how hurt the community was over the Spider-Man game. I mean, they are still seething mad that game did not come to the world's most powerful console and stuff like that. So, like, that person tweeted Insomniac that you will rule the day that you did not put that game on.
Yeah, so you were fuming in that stream, but I don't think I called it the ghetto version of it. I called it the bootleg version of Hangout.
Yeah, bootleg. Yeah, you're right. I forgot about
bootleg.
Yeah, but hey, I changed mine.
It looked good though. It looked like your normal Hangouts. I like what you did there. It looked good.
Yeah.
Can I make a quick prediction?
Yes, sir. Of course.
just popped in my head. Sometimes crazy things pop in my head, but I think it's it's worth sharing. I think in about 5 to 10 years from now, I predict that the streaming service business is going to crash. You know, like the video game crash of 1983.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be a big crash in streaming. I tell you why. There's going to be too many companies streaming, and you're going to have to pay for every one of them in order to watch the program, because they're all going to be gobbling up everything you like. So you're going to have to subscribe to Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus. You're going to have to subscribe to Amazon Prime Video. You're going to have to subscribe to whoever has the content that you really like. And you're going to find that people are paying for so many services. It's going to be like a mortgage. Trust me. It's like you're paying on a car note each month. That's how much it's going to feel like it's coming out of your pocket. And that is not sustainable. All right. So either they're going to have to merge, and streaming companies are going to gobble up smaller ones and literally absorb them. Right. Absorb them. Right. Sorry. Poor grammar. Absorb them. And then not monopolize, because that won't be allowed, but, take them on, gobble them up, or it's going to crash. Because this is unsustainable. And the same thing with game streaming. Yes. If every company decides to do streaming, EA, Ubisoft, Amazon's doing it, Twitch, they're all doing it, right? Microsoft, Stadia, Sony, Nintendo will probably get in on it at some point, maybe in the next century. They kind of already
are, because they had what was the Resident Evil on there? Remember?
But that's contracted out, my friend. That's not Nintendo's infrastructure. I'm talking about Nintendo actually getting on board, which will probably be in a century.
Yeah, they kind of already are. Because remember Microsoft was building their infrastructure from them. Yeah, I forgot.
Yeah, but Nintendo's is far from usable on a mass scale.
I agree with that.
But there's going to be like 8 or 9 of these services across the board. You're even going to get new players coming in, like Apple doing game stream services, right? You're going to get loads of companies. Verizon will probably have a game streaming service, for crying out loud. They'll all be doing it. Sprint will have one. They'll all be doing it, and it's just a bubble that's gonna be great for some people for a while if you're into that. But then that bubble is gonna burst. Too much air going into the balloon, and it will pop, and that will be the crash.
Yeah, I'm getting the Ubisoft one, but Yeah, I don't disagree. I think Disney Plus acquitted itself this weekend with all the program they're going to have. But no, as far as gaming is concerned, about the gaming, the Ubisoft one I'm getting because of all the Assassin's Creed. You'll be able to play all of them now in the sequential order that they should be played in. So yeah, I'm excited about that one just to try it out. I mean, I think it's only going to be like $5.99 a month, or it was something like that. If you applied for it at a certain point, you can get it. But yeah, I don't disagree. Rockstar Games could probably do it and get away with it. They would have to convert those Grand Theft Autos from 4.3 to 16.9. But at the end of the day, yeah, I don't disagree. I hope it doesn't crash.
Dude, they'll all be doing it. McDonald's will have their own game stream.
It wouldn't shock me. Yeah, it wouldn't shock me.
You know what's crazy though? This just goes to show how big Spider-Man is, though, right? Y'all know they just announced She-Hulk. They just announced all these other characters at Disney's Expo, and like literally nobody really cares about these characters. Moon Knight was cool. Yeah, Moon Knight had people talking.
Set everybody on fire.
Yeah, Moon Knight was cool.
Was a surprise.
And Black Panther too. Awesome.
Miss Marvel, or that's coming, which I'm excited about. Camilla Khan.
So, did he talk who's playing these roles though? Who's playing? Who's going to be Miss Marvel, and who's going to be?
They haven't said. They haven't said. Yeah, they haven't said that. They haven't said anything about She-Hulk yet, and they haven't said what version of She-Hulk they're doing.
Yeah, so, is this the one that gets sick, and then she gets a blood transfusion from the Hulk? Is this the one?
It could be. Yeah, it could be. Then if they do that, do they have Mark Ruffalo do a cameo in it as Miss Banner? I mean, we'll have to wait and see. But the main thing is that they announced a lot of new content.
I hope he doesn't get killed off, because remember he's weak from the snap, his arm.
He's weak. Yeah, real fast. All these stupid people that say that Hulk got dumbed down.
No,
when he was able
weak.
to conduct the Infinity Gauntlet. The fact he was able to do it. Is a nod to him and bring everybody. These people got to take.
Just like these are the same people who said that Thor was dumbed down, but they failed to realize that the version of Thor they told was Thor gets his power from the people. Half his people were annihilated.
Yeah, actually 75%. Because
75%. That's right.
Yeah, he killed 50% when he attacked them at the beginning of Infinity War. Then when he snapped his fingers, 25% more died. So he was at 75% weakness, and they were complaining. Like, are you kidding me? I mean, how stupid are you?
Like, look at the power buff. Infinity War, he was a god, and Endgame, he's a scrub. He's a fat, cheese whiz filled scrub. And I'm like, come on, bro. It don't have to be like this, especially when you look at Captain America, because Captain America was a good version too. But come on, they
Captain America hit Thanos with everything he had.
Yes.
And Thanos still knocked him backwards and
shattered the shield.
People don't know what they're dealing with in Thanos. So Thanos is a titan. I mean,
what a frightening. Think about it. Sorry to change subject. What a frightening future, though. Imagine going into Walmart or Costco and there's a game streaming service there. Oh my goodness.
Oh my god. Well, like the cafes, like free Wi-Fi or something like that with a purchase.
No, not free. They you buy something.
Yeah, I'm saying like the bundles.
You get a 2-week trial to these crappy indie games that they've licensed.
See, yeah. See, y'all thinking bigger. I didn't think like
that. They'll probably have a Walmart game where you have to pay the employees with low wages.
Yeah.
Yeah, the goal will be not to have them go on strike. They go on strike, the game's over.
Listen, if the NRA can have their own, if the NRA can have their own first-person shooter app, and then blame video games for the violence along with Donald Trump, anything's possible.
Yeah, and then also let's see if you can actually, if you get a bonus, like the bonus DLC will be give your employees free dental, because that woman checking me out in aisle 19 today, that was a problem. Houston, we had a problem with her teeth, if you would have called them that. I mean, so
it'll probably be like PUBG, a Walmart PUBG, right? It will be like. Every employee has to fight for their job, and only one wins. You get your chicken, you get your frozen chicken dinner.
Yeah, well, now speaking of PUBG, who wants to play that? Because it's going to have crossplay. I mean, we're all gonna be able to play together.
I am not about to play a game that's a sideshow. I ain't about to do that.
Well, I mean, come on, it's called PUBG, and it's got crossplay. Isn't that what these Nimrods were screaming about in the summertime?
Wait, didn't it run better on the mobile phone?
It did. It did.
Oh God, I forgot because like their optimization for the game was terrible. It ran better on the mobile phone though, which is insane.
Yeah, I'm playing it on tablet.
Oh God.
Are people still playing PUBG?
Yeah, it's crossplay now, Foxy.
Oh,
and we're all going to play. Aren't you going to play? Don't you want to play with the community?
I never cared about. Honestly, I didn't care about it when it first came out. Never cared about PUBG. I'm a selfish gamer, man. I want to spend the time with the game. It's going on a date. I don't want my friends with me.
Oh God.
Yeah.
What was I about to say regarding the MCU? Yeah, that was a good theory, though, Craig. Definitely a good theory, you know, especially with this whole week thing, you know, him being replaced. Yeah. Hulk.
Oh, well, they're retarded.
Yeah.
I mean, well, Marvel doesn't own Hulk, Universal does. Yeah. And so if there's going to be, if they're going to have a show where she gets a transfusion, would Ruffalo make a guest of, let's say it's 3 shows.
Or would he be quote unquote discontinued? You know, that's the new thing. They cancel characters for another. So yeah, that's the other thing.
Which we'll have to wait and see. But Kevin Feige came out months ago and said how dedicated they are to bringing diversity and stuff like that. The TV shows do that, and them leading off Phase 5 with Black Panther, and they moved it from February till May, which means they're going for that big May opening release weekend. So we'll just have to wait and see. That's what I'm saying. The Avengers will be fine. You got Captain America. That's
which is in What
Falcon.
If, right? What is What If exactly? Is What If like something they're gonna do is like continuity, or is it something?
Well,
else?
yeah. What if they'll say, what if Captain America didn't receive the transfusion he did, and Peggy Carter got it? That's the what if.
So is that what they're doing?
You mean
with
Captain America could be a female in the next movie?
And What If is a series of
what is a series of like it's like a series of episodes they're going to be doing on the network.
Yeah, it would literally be like, I don't know if you've been to a comic book shop, but everybody plays What If. Okay, well everybody plays What If. What if Batman could exist with Captain America? What if that's what if is? They're just doing it.
It sounds
very nerdy. Oh yeah, it's very nerdy. It is. No, it is. It's a nerdy TV show where people will just say.
It sounds like that Sherman from Big Bang Theory.
That's exactly what it is. It's exactly like that. It's just cool. They got
what if the Hulk could beat Ant-Man? Would that be possible? The Hulk beating Ant-Man?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe you couldn't see Ant because the Ant is so small.
Yeah, in theory, I said, Ant-Man is one of the strongest characters. When he's that small, his suit makes him 4.5 times stronger than anything else.
Maybe because
giant man, he's
What about the Wasp? Maybe the Wasp could just be so small and go up the nostril of the Hulk and eat the brain and kill him that way.
And there you go. But that's what If is. So it's just going to be and I think it's a filler show. Yeah,
I'm sorry. Let me put my Sherman away. Sorry about that.
Yeah. Well, no, it's a show. It's a nerd show. I say it lasts maybe 2 seasons.
Listen, I'm a nerd, but I'm low level.
Yeah, but guess what they will be able to show? They will be able to say, they will be able to show because all these.
Do you think these shows will act as just like the introductions to get them in the MCU, like in the movies?
Yeah,
like in the bigger?
they already said that.
Or okay, so they are continuing that way. That. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, they said it's because with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., because that was done by the TV, ABC TV.
Right.
They wouldn't really mention a lot of the stuff, but now. With these shows, they will tie them into the overall.
That's good. That's
MCU.
good. That's good for future stars. That's definitely good for future stars for sure.
Yeah, because you got to reintroduce these new characters.
Yes.
They're going to be heavy comic book.
New villains that probably won't get the spotlight in the bigger picture can get showcased. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, you in theory could have Moon Knight and then crossover with Blade. That would be a good crossover.
Who's gonna play Deacon Frost? Who you think?
They haven't cast. That's another great thing is that a whole lot of they keep saying Disney canceled a whole bunch of jobs with their Fox purchase. They're also creating a whole bunch with these TV shows.
Okay.
So we'll just have to see. But yeah, Moon Knight with a Blade crossover, because we all know who Blade is. Most people know who Moon Knight is. So that would be cool.
Okay.
You know, are they going to have the Blood Knights in it? We'll have to wait and see. So it's all.
I don't know why Wesley Snipes can't just play Blade. He's still young enough.
He gave up on the role, man. He was down for it, but I think he's rather pass on the mantle because he really. He just he's played the role.
No. He would never have passed. The money wasn't enough, bro. That's what it is.
You don't think it was the money? You think it was the money?
No,
Wesley Snipes is not as busy and commanding as he used to be. No disrespect. I love the guy's body of work. But he's not exactly the most in-demand actor. I don't see him turning down.
Ever since that whole tax evasion thing, yeah.
Well, Kevin Feige said why. One, Mirshaw Ali, it's won 2 Oscars. Number 2, Wesley Snipes blessed it. He was like, wow, great, because people did get upset. And Wesley Snipes actually released a statement saying it's cool.
They forced him to sell, innit? They forced him to sell. He owned the rights to Blade, much in the way that Sony owns the rights to Spider-Man. But then when he got into that money problem, he had to sell it for ridiculous.
Yeah, nickels on the dollar. Yeah, to get himself out of that trouble. But Wesley may have a role in it the same as Whistler had
That's
a role.
What I was thinking.
That's what people are assuming. We'll have to wait and see. He may pop in. He may not. If Blade may not be a movie, Blade may be a series. Because Mirshaw Ali has done TV a whole lot. That's where he come out of. So, but we'll have to wait and see. It's the cool thing is that they're doing it. People have been asking for this stuff, and now they're doing it. So, we'll have to wait and see.
I think that's the end of the show. But before I end it, I want to get your take on this, Craig, because I know unless Fox is curious to add his to it. But you heard about Brie Larson? She was talking about her movie again, and she triggered some people because her sales tanked. The sales of the DVDs tanked for Captain Marvel.
Well, the movie's been out on DVD for months, and when it came out,
I didn't even know it released on DVD. That's how I don't care.
I mean, it's been out. The movie came out in February.
Yeah,
and I mean, those guys are so butthurt. I mean, she castrated those white guys. So who the hell cares about this?
But I know you're wrapping up, Ryan. But I really thought you would talk about the Sean Layden statement about some of the games from the studios going over to PC.
Oh, you know what? I forgot about that. Sorry. You wanna bring that up? I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, I am co-hosting after all, so
yeah. I forgot about that.
I might as well add this to the my 2 cents in. Yeah. So, like, Sean Layden came out with something to the tune of some games may need a wider audience. From out of my first party studios, and then he went on to say like multiplayer games. But yeah, I agree. Like, I made a video about it, and some people in the video comments seem to get the impression that I was saying that first party games like The Last of Us and all that were definitely going to go to PC. I said, what could they? I wasn't saying they would. I said, could they, as in what if? Like, could this be opening the doors? Because once Sony says like we're going to allow certain games to have a heavy multiplayer component, because I assume that's what they meant. Like how Sony was involved in those games like what was it called? They had like involvement in the PS4's early days with PC already with online games. Like Daybreak Studios, remember them? They left them, but they had a bunch of games going to the PC that were multiplayer only, that were online multiplayer games. So I think maybe Sony's thinking about from that point of view at first, but that does kind of open the, it does open the gates though, because once you allow crossplay games like multiplayer component games between PS4 and PC, and if it's a success over the years, that kind of just encourages them to go the whole hog, doesn't it? Because
you have the option, you have the door open pretty much for future.
And that's what I said like a few podcasts ago. I said I
guarantee you will see some
guarantee you like a year or two into PS5's lifespan, you're going to see lots of PS4 and PS5 games from Sony exclusives that were meant to be exclusives playable on the PC.
Yeah, I think they'll play the field because remember it's going to be tough to launch the system because remember like they got to accumulate the losses or whatnot, especially depending on how well they sell in terms of like getting out there. Because remember it costs a lot of money to get the systems out there, so they might sell at a loss or a small profit, and they want to make more. So,
but the games won't be day and date. They're like,
yeah, it won't be. It won't be like Microsoft. It won't be like
people
that.
are thinking, oh, Foxy's saying the Last of Us Part 2 because it's got a multiplayer component. That's going to launch day and date. I was never saying that. I was asking a question. Could means not. It's not an absolute. Could is like saying could it.
Yeah, it's a question.
You know what I'm saying?
It's a possibility.
It's like shout out Christopher Hart in the chat. He said, "Yeah, but Fox, people will take what you say and flip it to fit their narratives." True.
Yes.
But I can only speak English. I can't speak double Dutch. I can only say it in English. And if people still twist plain English, you know, short of editing my words in a video and mixing the words up to create what they want, I can only speak English, Chris. And that's all I'm ever going to do, you know? Because when I said it a couple podcasts ago, literally a week later, Sean Layden made the statement. Now, people say, I don't know what I'm talking about half of the time. Well, I'm sorry that you keep getting proven wrong. Because a week later, Sean Layden said, you know, some games are going to fit a wider audience. Like, what was his proper statement? He said something like, "Oh, we must support PlayStation.
Yeah,
that is
PlayStation
non-negotiable.
Yes.
However, you know, there are some games from our first-party studios will need a wider audience, and there might be games like DayZ type games, you know."
Yeah,
it might be like, Planet Side or whatever that game was called. Remember that? That was a PC game. That was Sony Online. Wasn't that Sony Online Entertainment? SOE.
What's that game? No Man's Sky. If they make a sequel to No Man's Sky, you know, they might do something like that.
Nah, they not. That game's fine. I mean, if you have that on.
Not on. They made like a sequel. You know, like sequel to those type of big games.
That's like Minecraft now. They're just gonna build on what they got there.
Oh, okay. What about like there's another example. Not Until Dawn. What was it? Days Gone, but with multiplayer with hordes. Something like that.
Yeah, games like that will definitely be crossplay, but only between PC and PlayStation 5. I guarantee there'll be none of them type games will be crossplay across the board. But there still leaves that door open though, that perhaps in 2 to 3 years from now, all right, like I said, 2 years after PS5, that you may possibly see. They'll probably start with PS4 games, you know, because they're old. But eventually, you will see PS5 games on the PC. I'm sorry if that offends you. I'm sorry if the reality is not what you want to hear, but that's the facts. I'm sorry. That is going to happen. And I know because I was told this. I was told this by the people who would know. And they're always right because a week later, Sean Layden made this statement. Now, does that mean Uncharted, The Last of Us Part 2, the next Spider-Man game, the next God of War, the next Days Gone are all going to end up on PC? No, it doesn't mean that. That might not happen for a generation after PS5, but eventually, PC's going to get the games.
Okay.
Well, I mean, again, yeah, it came out and said that it would be mostly multiplayer games, which does go with what they said. You know, didn't he say last year they needed to try to work on opening up their multiplayer profile? The Predator game that they showed, there's no reason why that can't be crossplay. I still don't know why H1Z.
That will go to PC. I can definitely see Predator going to PC because that's the perfect fit. Crossplay, PC, Predator.
It's not even finished yet, is it? It's still in beta form, right?
It'll help keep the game alive as well. And you know there's going to be a PS5 version. And it will help keep the game alive, you know, because when games fizzle out and it's only relying on one platform for the online activity, it's easier to get more players in when you have another platform involved. And I can see Sony using the PC in that sense. Because believe it or not, I know Sony once said that they consider PC a competitor, which is why they bought out the PS4 Pro. But they don't mean it in the sense that you think. It's not a direct compare. They're talking about for dollar. Like they're talking about they're worried about people buying a PC instead of the next Sony console.
Yep.
They're not talking about long-term money like software. They were only talking about, maybe people, if we didn't make the PS4 Pro, People might get fed up with the technology that it doesn't move along fast enough, and they might be tempted to get a PC. That's all they meant. PCs. How can a modular box of hardware ever be in competition with a static box of hardware that cannot be upgraded? How is it possible? One is expandable, the other one is non-expandable. There is no competition.
There isn't.
So people should never be concerned if some games from the Sony stable ends up on PC. Don't be a player hater. We get a lot of PC games.
Mm-hmm.
As long as it don't go to Xbox and Nintendo or anyone else, Stadia, I don't see what the concern is. I don't see PC as competition in the console space. I'm sorry. You know, people might say I'm wrong, but I'm sorry. I just never saw the PC as a competitor to Sony.
Wasn't it
and
Neo that went
consoles.
to PC? Which last one?
Huh?
It was Neo, right? Wasn't Neo that went to PC and like
Yeah, but that's not a Sony first party game.
Yeah, it wasn't a first party, but I know a lot of people were like concerned.
That's from software though, isn't it? Ain't that from software?
Yeah, it's from software, I think.
But nothing to do with Sony. They just publish on Sony platforms as well as Microsoft.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
If you say God of War, the next one is gonna release stay and date with the PC, and people got upset. I kind of understand that because it takes away the exclusivity value of buying a console. There's a reason why you buy a console. It's because of the exclusives. But if it comes out, say, a year to 18 months after, when all the sales have been done on PS5, why would anyone have a problem with that?
Yeah, I can see what you're saying for sure.
Oh yeah, I mean, I still, like I said, I don't know why H is not crossplay, or it's always online. It's I guess it's still free to play. I'm not for sure.
I think it's that engine, bro. They probably have a problem with that engine getting on all platforms like that. Maybe it's the engine.
Well, yeah, maybe, yeah.
It's a lot of zombies plus you. Well,
H1Z1, not DayZ. Just H1Z1.
I thought you said DayZ.
Yeah, it's like PUBG. But it plays at 60 frames a second, so I don't know why it's not. And it's on PC, I believe. So I don't know why it's not. I don't know why, and they could announce it tomorrow. Maybe wake up tomorrow and it'd be available. So, but yeah, I agree. They, they're going to have more multiplayer games, and a game like Concrete Genie, and so I don't know why that won't go to PC anyway.
Oh, I stand corrected. Shout out Sean Benjamin.
Yes, yeah.
Neo is not from software. It's from Koei Tecmo.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
No, because that someone's gonna get excited about what I said and say, "No, it's not from software. You don't know nothing about games."
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the story
Death
of
threats. I'll get death threats. I'll get death threats for wrong publisher.
Really? Oh wow.
Wrong. No, I haven't really. I mean, that's how serious the internet's gone.
Oh yeah.
Like you can literally get a death threat for saying the wrong developer these days. That's how triggered people are.
They're like, oh, it shows how much you know. Blah blah blah.
Blah, blah, blah.
All right.
Give this man a fucking paycheck.
I remember reviewing. What's that? Is it what's that game? That game made by that Polish company. It's like a zombie game. Dying Light.
Dying Light.
Yeah. The main character in Dying Light, which I thought it was Troy Baker because it sounded like him.
Mm-hmm.
So in my review, I didn't research it. My bad. Hang me, kill me, stab me, shoot me. But I went by the sound, and to me, it sounded like Troy Baker. So in my review, I said, Troy Baker does a wonderful job. It was actually a guy, Roger or something, right? But someone in my chat corrected me and said that I deserve to be hung and quartered for getting that wrong.
Oh my God!
Do you know what hung and quartered is? It's when you literally get hung by the neck and sliced with a sword.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's how serious they took that.
Yeah, they're mad.
You know what I mean?
Wow.
Like literally, when I scored the Order 886 lower than people expected, I think I gave it a 7. I got real death. Well, I don't know if it's a real death threat, but I got death threat for that.
Oh shit!
Yeah, I know where you live.
See,
I'm gonna
when I
you're gonna
scored it
get
higher
killed.
than last time when I went back to revisit it in that video, dudes in there going, "Oh, that game is trash. It doesn't have potential. You're just holding on to false hope." I'm like, listen, this is just my opinion on a game. That's it.
That's it. Man,
So
I said it's too short, too many cinematic sequences, not enough gameplay. But what's there is
Yeah.
amazing, right? And I think I scored it
it's got
5.
tons of
at
substance.
first.
Yeah.
I think I gave it a 5, and then I changed my mind and gave it a 7, and I still got a death threat.
Wow. Yeah. So many opportunities for
And
that
I was
game
so
in terms of
scared. I was so
creatures.
scared. I was buying all types of camera equipment. I was really like, it was like Purge. I was really sorting my house out. Like I had gates on the windows, Purge, man, shutters on the windows. Seriously, because this person that lives in, I think they're from Milwaukee or somewhere. You know, that's like
Oh,
7,000 miles away. You can't take chances with someone 7,000 miles.
Mm-hmm.
You never know. They might be crazy enough to fly.
Oh,
wow.
wow. All right.
The gaming disorder is real.
All righty. Anybody else have anything else they want to talk about?
No, but it was a good show, man. I
This
really
is an
enjoyed it.
amazing
Good
show. Shout out to everybody out here in the chat. We had almost 160 people watching. Thank you guys so much for coming through. Hope you guys enjoyed yourselves. We had a blast talking with all of you. It was a lot to go on in terms of gaming news, so that was a great refresh as of late because, it hasn't been much, but good to see. I want to say thank you to everybody on the panel. Shout out to Foxy. Shout out to Craig Harris, Carlos, and of course Lobo. I think Carlos stepped out, so it's all good. But yeah, thank y'all, man. Gamer Couch Podcast, episode 112, and this is also the RGT, episode 74. Super Show will be back next Sunday, same time, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. So we hope to see you guys back here. But until then, if you guys enjoyed the show, hit that like button. I'm going to let everybody do their outros.
And
I'm
don't
gonna shut
forget,
it down.
before we're doing outros, don't forget,
Yes,
this
sir.
will be uploaded to Foxy Games UK
Yes.
with immediate effect. So if you are one of these people that are too stubborn or just don't feel like going over to someone else's channel to watch or listen to me, it will be on my channel.
Yes, sir. It will be on Fashi's
sir.
channel as soon as these shows always end. So there's also that. So keep that in mind.
It'll be up in about an hour. About an hour.
Nah, it's like almost 2 hours, like 3.
No.
2
I mean,
hours.
once it processes, it'll take probably between it processing and it becoming available on my channel, an hour probably will pass.
No, okay. I got you. All right. I'm going to let everybody do their outros, and we going to shut it down. Mr. Messiah, go ahead, brother.
All right, thanks for having me. Great time on the Supercast.
There you go.
And so thanks to everybody for joining us in the chat. Shout out to the chat. And yeah, big gaming week. We got Control coming out in 48 hours. I know some people already have it. The review scores go up tomorrow, but who gives a damn about the review? Make your own review. I think Days Gone proved that. Man of a Dan comes out at the end of the week.
Yeah.
And yeah, we got Gears coming out. So shout out to another podcast. I can't remember the name of it, but hope your backlog, I agree with them. Hope your backlog's cleared out because this thing's going to really start picking up with the game. So yeah, check us out. Check me out on Twitter if you can and play the games or else the terrorists win.
Alrighty. Mr. Lobo.
Hey guys, Savage Lobo here. RGT episode 74 and Gamer Couch 112. Thank you, Ryan, for having me on today's show. And as always, I'm gonna say the same thing that Carl says: gamer by choice, not by trend.
Okay. Little Carlos, I see you. Shout out to Carlos Fernandez. He stepped away, but pretty much Lobo said the same thing that he would say: gamer by choice, not by trend. And Mr. Fox, the host of the Gamer Couch, go ahead, brother.
Always a pleasure. I think it's a good combo tonight. You got the best of both worlds all in one, wrapped up, shiny, slinky, 2-hour skit. So I've enjoyed myself. Tomorrow there will be no video on the channel because it's a bank holiday. Okay, and on the 26th of August, it's Carnival, Notting Hill Carnival. It's worldwide known. They're gonna have a lot of reggae, dancehall, bashment, hip hop, every street is going to be filled with people and sound systems and music playing. There's going to be food everywhere, all over the floor. My kicks are going to get totally fucked up by the end of the day, but I'll just that's a thing. That's a thing. That's a thing. But there's going to be like 1 million people there, tomorrow, maybe more, and not in no carnival. And I can't wait. I'm going to bring my 2 white friends. I know they can't dance, so I'm going to get a lot of entertainment from them when we go to the reggae section.
Oh Lord!
Alrighty. I'm Big Cloud
great,
Gaming.
man.
Yeah, all right.
Play games, not corporations.
Alrighty, you
And
heard
love each other more, man. It don't matter where we're from, man.
Amen. Amen. This is Big Cloud Gaming, host of the RGT, co-host of Gamer Couch. Thank you guys again for coming through. We will see you guys next Sunday. Till then, y'all be blessed. Y'all be easy. Go play some games. And above all, y'all have fun, man. We love y'all, and we'll see y'all next week. Later.
Peace and love.
Later.